What's the key to longevity, Reg?
I've got no idea. Port Moresby is hot, it's dusty, there's shortage of water. You get a pint a day, that's it. Dick said to me, if we get through this, the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to marry Isabel. He said, I want you to be my best man. He took one step forward and he got a bullet straight through his brain.
So was it hot during the day and freezing at night?
Freezing overnight. People say, how can you survive? Well, either you survive or you die. They found out after 83 years, there's still malarial blood in my body.
Wow. How do you get through that?
Don't ask me. I don't know because we all had to do it.
Does it get easier over time or do you always remember?
Every time I go to bed.
So today we are here with a World War II veteran who fought on the Kokoda Trail, a national treasure and one of the last living links to the battles that helped save Australia. At 101 years old, he's a decorated soldier, educator, and spent his recent years taking people to the Kokoda Trail and keeping history alive. Reg Chard, thank you for coming on.
That's a pleasure.
Now, your father was a veteran too. He fought in World War I.
That's right. He was in the 35th Infantry Battalion with his two brothers, Victor and Damien, and at Passchendaele in Belgium. The Germans had him pinned down with artillery fire. He lost his two brothers. They were both killed. And he got a lump of shrapnel underneath his heart. Of course, 1917, they couldn't do anything, so he lived with that for the rest of his life. But he was a carpenter by trade, not like today, a real trade it was in those days. Every morning he used to carry his tools to work like everybody else. You wouldn't leave him on the job because the depression was on, and anything that was saleable,
people would steal.
Taken.
Okay.
So he drank a lot, and I could never understand. He'd go to work every morning, carry his tools, 5 o'clock in the morning, and when he'd come home, he wouldn't come home first. He'd go to the Anzac Memorial Club in Marrickville, and I could never understand why he went there. But when I in the same boat. Now I understand because that's where he felt comfortable.
Yep.
They're all together. By the way, anytime I'm talking, there used to be 22 of us over there, veterans, and we all get upset at some time. Don't take the notice. It just comes, it just goes.
I appreciate how honest you are with your experiences. People take great.
That's just how it goes. And I also had two brothers. They served in the Second World War. Jack was 3 years older than myself. He went away on the Queen Mary second trip to the Middle East. He was in the second. He was in the 9th Division, 2nd, 3rd Pioneers. He was a plumber by trade. My other brother, he went away with Jack on the same ship, the Queen Mary. And when he was overseas, every time he had, they found it in the end, every time he had tomato sauce or black sauce, anything like that, he was sick.
Really?
So they found out he had cancer in the stomach.
And they found out because he got sick when he had
got sick
tomato
when
sauce.
he ate those sort of things.
Were they able to save him from?
Yeah.
Wow. So the sauce saved his life.
Yeah. So he was sent straight home, of course. And when I came home, he was still out of the army, but they were paying for his bills.
Yeah.
And they put him in Prince Albert Hospital, and Dr. Ferber, he was a specialist, he operated on him, and at the time, I was home. Anyway, he said to Herb's wife, he said, look, I don't know till I open him up what I'm going to find, but he said, I'll send a nurse out and I can tell you one of two things. Either I've got to take all his stomach out or leave him as is and he'll last about 6 months. So anyway, I was there and his wife was there and my mother. Anyway, the nurse come out and of course his wife's diddling and daddling and of course the nurse said, well, you better hurry up, like the surgeon's sitting there. He's opening him up. What are you going to do? And I said, tell him to take his stomach out. And he lived 89.
Wow, I tell you got some good genes.
Well, we must.
So you're 101 years old.
Yeah.
What's your trick to longevity? You went and fought in the war. Some people these days, they have all these green juices to live longer. I can imagine there were some unhealthy things that had to go down at war. What's the key to longevity, Reg?
I've got no idea.
Really?
I think it's genes. That's all I can say.
Genes.
Because my great grandfather, you young people wouldn't know. In Rorke's Drift in South Africa, he won the Victoria Cross.
Wow.
when they were fighting against the Zulus. So that's how far we go back in the army. It was always been in the infantry. Stupid, I suppose, but anyway, that's just how it worked out.
And why did you enlist in the war? You enlisted at 18 years old to go fight in World War II. What made you enlist?
Well, the two brothers, I suppose, because they were just like the reserve army is today. They were in it one night a month. Every Friday night. They used to go to Addison Road in Maryville, the drill hall, and play soldiers. That's his way. And they both, when the war broke out, they already had an army number. So the two of them, they just transferred over to the AIF. And I was apprentice to Baker and Pastry Cook. I'd done 4 years as a planter and pastry cook. So I said, I want to go with them. So my parents signed my papers for me. So this is hilarious. I went down to Martin Place, and of course there's a big long queue. The Depression was on in those days. There was no money given like they give today. What you used to do every Monday morning, you go to your local town hall, and my father made a wheelbarrow for me. You go up there, and then he give you all your fruit, your vegetables, your coupons for your butter, for your rent, everything for the week. So, as I said, I was apprentice. I went down to Martin Place anyway. I'd come my turn because there's a big long queue. Most of them a lot older than me, the men, because once they joined the army, your wife also got 2 and 6pence a day. That's the easy way to tell you. 25 cents a day.
So you got paid and your wife got paid.
Yeah.
So during the Great Depression, it supported your family.
That was a lot of money. Yeah.
Yep.
So anyway, I went in, the bloke saying, they used to treat you like dirt. Who's up next? So in I go, the bloke, what do you want? I want to join the army. How old are you? 18. You got your parent extent. Here we are. Of course, I was dumb in those days. I probably still am.
No.
So he said to me, what do you do? And I said, I'm an apprentice to Baker and Pastry. Well, I can't repeat what he told me anyway. But when I walked out, all the blokes in the queue, you better go home to Mummy. Mummy wants you. So anyway, I thought, this is no bloody good. So I walked down the street. I got a job at the egg marketing board for 1 week, went back to the same bloke a week later, and they used to give you like an envelope with your Bundy number and what days you worked and how much you got. I just showed him that. He said, okay, sign there. Now, when you signed up for the duration of the war. Could be still going, who knows?
Wow. So there was no time. You just sign up for however long they need you for the war.
Plus 6 months thereafter. Now, when the war finished, if they wanted to keep you in for 6 months for any special reason, that's what they did.
Wow.
So when the war finished, I got scrub typhus, which is a terrible disease. 8 of every 10 died from it. You're only conscious for 15 days. And on the 10th day, you start to wake up, or you just don't. And I also had 36 doses of malaria before I got out of the army. So this is what they kept me in after the war for, because they'd come out with some new medicines to try and, with both the scrub typhus and malaria, the symptoms were exactly the same, except with scrub typhus, you was unconscious for 10 up to 10 days.
So you got malaria on the Kokoda Trail multiple times.
Yeah.
What were the symptoms and how did you survive that?
Okay, your symptoms are exactly the same for scrub typhus and malaria. Okay, first of all, you start to get freezing cold and you shake. The whole body shakes. And then you start to sweat and you sweat and the sweat's pouring out of you and you're freezing cold. You can't get warm. They can put 50 blankets on you. It's no good. The only thing that used to break the fever was quinine. And quinine, it looked like water. It came from the bark of a tree in Java. Of course, the Japanese had all those things. So we only had a certain amount of quinine. And what the nursing sisters used to do, they'd give you the quinine, a little medicine glass 3 times a day. And to get to here, you should have a sieve. You people know what a sieve is, don't you?
A sieve?
A sieve, yeah.
What is it?
Colander?
Is it inject it?
No. When your wife or your mother boils peas or something, they put it in a colander full of water.
Yeah.
And she had one of those. She'd shove it underneath your mouth. to catch the quinine and a dish underneath it. So the quinine would run through, it's just like water, and all it would bring up stops, and so you'd throw that away, pour the quinine in and give it back to have another go, because they didn't have any more. And that's the only thing that broke the fever.
And they had on rations of it. I can just imagine being that sick while fighting a war.
Oh.
How do you get through that?
Don't ask me. I don't know, because we all had to do it.
Yeah.
And everyone did. No person went up there that didn't get malaria. I don't care who they were. There was 3 different sorts of malaria. There was bacterial, malignant, and cerebral malaria. I got bacterial, the one, and I'll tell you how long it lasts. Not the last time I was in hospital, just recently. The time before, I'm anemic. They don't know why. So they said, what we're going to do is go back in your bloodstream and find out what we can find out. They found out after 83 years, there's still malarial blood in my body.
So you still have malaria fevers to this day?
Body.
Wow. It's insane. And what about your first time landing at the Kokoda Trail of World War II, coming from being a baker in Australia to on a war front? What was that experience like?
Well, the moment you step off the ship to start with at Port Moresby, Robert will tell you because he went up on a couple of cruises. The moment you walk down that gangplank in Port Moresby, it's just they're like that for 2 or 3 days till you're acclimatised. And there's no way of getting away with it. Port Moresby is hot, it's dusty, and even though their rainfall in New Guinea is 191.5 inches of rain, normally here in Sydney we get 8.5. Not the last couple of years, but prior to that. And if you like to walk, when you go out there on the back veranda, you'll see that big picture up there.
Yes.
Read it and you'll see on there, that's from Canberra. 191.5 inches of rain a year they get. Port Moresby, the shortage of water. You get a pint a day, that's it.
Yes.
And it's like it's like being here in Sydney and going up to the Blue Mountains in summer. And you get round Penrith and it starts to get cooler and cooler. As you start to go up towards the mountains, it just gets cooler and cooler. And all we ever had was shorts, khaki shorts, and khaki long-sleeve shirts.
So was it hot during the day and freezing at night?
Freezing of a night time, yeah.
And you didn't have much gear to keep you warm?
We didn't. I mean, people say, how can you survive? Well, either you survive or you died. So...
Did many soldiers die?
You cuddle up to anything.
Really, yeah.
Yeah, you have no idea. And you get the stage in after a while. As I said, we didn't know where we were because in those days there was no signs to tell you where you were. The only 3 times I ever knew where I was, I knew when I was in Port Moresby. I knew when we was at Kokoda because there was a small airfield there. I knew when we come to the Coral Sea. Other than that, no idea.
Is it a weird feeling being in a foreign country, fighting foreigners, not knowing where you are?
You have no idea, and you don't worry. I mean, what's the good of worrying? Because you've got enough to worry about. We never wrote any letters because it rained all the time, and there was no. In those days, it was bottles of ink and pens.
Yeah.
Well, we had no bottles of ink and pens. We had no envelopes. We had no paper. And there was no post office, so. We didn't write. We never got any mail.
What was one of the most challenging days on the Kokoda Trail during World War II?
Okay, when we got over the mountains and we come out at the Coral Sea, you could smell the salt before you got to it. And at a place called Sanananda, this is where we had our biggest battle. It was started on the 7th of December 1942, and we didn't control them till the 22nd of January 1943 when they surrendered. So I was standing there one morning. We had to cross this river to get to Sanananda. And I can tell you the names. Dick Cast was on one side of me. He was on the left-hand side of me. From Dick Cast was from Eaglebird in Sydney. His parents had a poultry farm. He was a real country boy. Yeah. And his real name was Roderick. So when you join the army, the first thing I'd say to you, well, what's your name, mate? What sort of work did you do? This is how you found out all about them. So anyway, he said to somebody else, somebody said to him, what's your name? And he said, Roderick. I won't tell you what they said to him anyway. Okay, your name's Dick.
Okay.
And at Ingleburn railway station, there's a memorial there for the people of Ingleburn, and his name's on there, Roderick Chaos, and then brackets above it as Dick. So the name stuck with him all his life. On my right-hand side, there was Alan Davison from Dulwich Hill in Sydney. He worked for the post office in the Sydney Haymarket. So Dick said to me, well, if we get through this, he said they'll have to let us go home because this is the last campaign in Papua New Guinea. Then they move further on. Anyway, he said to me, when I get home, the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to marry Isabel. That was his girlfriend. This is what's kept us all going.
Girlfriends?
Yeah, all talking about girlfriends, wives. You knew everybody's business, how many children they had, what they do for work, etc. This is what's kept us going.
Thinking about home and
all
your loved ones.
So Dick said, he said, so, when we do, if we do, he said, I want you to be my best man. I said, yeah, fine, Dick, just like that. Yeah, no problem. Anyway, he took one step forward and got a bullet straight through his brain. He was dead before he even started to fall. And on the other side, Alan Davison got one in the temple, so there was two snipers up in the trees. They used to get into a basket about this tall, about this round, and this is where they lived. They used to eat rice out of little white bags, just raw rice. And the only reason you could ever find was, one day I said to some of the young schoolgirls up there, they never come down. So anyway, she came up and she said to me, Reg, what happened if he wanted to go to the bathroom? I said, I just told her. He never came down.
So you lost the two men standing left and right of you?
Left and right of me. Now, I didn't know what to do. Now, the one thing with the Japanese, we found out we studied them. If you did something, they did the same thing over and over and over again. So after a while, we knew what they were going to do before they did it. But if you did something which they weren't used to, they had to stop and think, he shouldn't be doing that, or they shouldn't be doing that. What are they doing that for? So I thought to myself, now they expect me to run. Either they can't see me or they thought there was only two of them. So I thought to myself, they expect me to run backwards if there's anybody, so I'll run towards them. So I only run, about 5 or 6 paces, and then I went back. That fast, nobody would have caught me anyway, not even a bullet. And that was my worst experience of the lot, Just the two men I've been with all the time, We've been up in the mountains, we've gone through everything. And when things looked like, we might finish up all right, we didn't. So, and after the war was over, when Betty, I've been going with Betty, Robert's mother, since we were 16. When we was ready to go away, she wanted to get married. So my father said to me, whatever you do, don't marry Betty before you go away. And I said, yeah, why? He said, okay, the moment you join the army, he said, your life's ruined. I said, okay, fair enough. And he said, you get married, you have a child, you go away, you get killed, and she's left with a child for the rest of her life. And he said, she's so soft, she would never marry again. So I said, okay, the moment the war's over, we'll be married. And I stuck to it, and we did. But so when after the war was over, I said to Betty, I'm going to go to Ingleburn and go to the police station and see if I can find Isabel. She never knew Dick was going to marry her. Never, ever. I went to the police station, the post office, the schools. I went to everywhere. Nobody ever heard of her. I knew she was alive because I'd seen pictures of her. So these are sort of things you think of all the time, And he was the same age as myself, so, most of them were, but we had two very old chaps with us in the Second World War in my company. There was 120 in the company to start with, and they were both in the First World War, and they were 65 and 66 years of age. We used to call them Grandpa, which they were, just like I'm Grandpa to you two young people. Well, we used to call them Grandpa. And anyway, we used to say, how the hell are you going to keep up with us young blokes? Boasting about it, but They were always there.
They always did.
Yeah. But unfortunately, they never come home either.
Holding those memories of your fallen comrades then versus now, does it get easier over time, or do you always remember?
Oh, every time I go to bed, I asked him. He knows what I go through every night, Tom.
You think?
And when I first come home, when I lost Betty, I thought to myself, I've had enough. So I wasn't going to survive. And I went over there early one morning, and I was there about 7 o'clock over the Kokoda Trail. And when I got there, it's open, so you can walk through 24 hours a day. Anyway, there was two ladies there looking up at one of those pictures. I'll show you when we go out. And it's got a picture of George Whittington.
Yeah.
He's got no boots on. Your boots only lasted approximately 3 months, and the soles and the heels they stopped in the mud, and you got the top half, so you just threw them away.
So you had no shoes there?
No boots. You look amongst the dead. That was where you got all your supplies. I mean, just say, for instance, you were shot and you were laying there and locked, and you had a pair of socks and I didn't. I'll take them.
These are pretty nice boots. Would they be gone?
Oh yeah. that lasts about 2 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, so we had no support. Look, people don't realise just... I'll give you an instance what the army was like in those days.
Because I would have thought you'd be well supplied fighting for the country. What was it really like out there?
Oh, well supplied. I'll give you an idea. This is how this delight here. Okay. When I went down and joined the army, I had to go back to Marrickville to the drill hall there. Anyway, they said, okay, you're in the army, as from today. The place, the camp you're going to is not quite finished yet. So go home, we'll send you a telegram when you time to come. So 3 days later, we got a telegram. Plus, we got a letter. Now, this is what the letter was on. Robert will tell you. I'm a hoarder. I've still got all these things outside.
I'd love to have a look.
Well, I'd have to find them.
Okay.
And I know I've got them.
Gotcha.
Okay. This is what they're told to bring. A pair of sand shoes, or whatever you like to call them today, 2 pair of socks, 2 pair of shorts, 2 pair of underpants, two singlets, 2 shirts, a cap, a belt, braces for when you get your uniform, a padlock and key for when you get your sausage bag, all your shaving gear, etc., plus, this is the one that got us, 3 cut lunches. Now, my mother said to my father, said, what the hell is 3 cut lunches for? I said, I don't know.
So you had to even bring your own gear to war?
Yeah. And I said, I've got no idea, but there it is written down there. And anyway, so mother said, well, I better make them for you. So anyway, we were down to the drill hall at Marrickville, and this is when the battalion was formed, 17th of November 1941. And they put us all in separate areas, like your A company, your B company, your C company, and don't get mixed up, because this afternoon we'll put you on trams to take you to Central, put you on a train, and somebody's saying, where are we going? You'll never find out where you go till you're there. So anyway, it come about 11 o'clock, and of course, remember the bloke who was there in charge, he was a real gentleman. Captain Martin, he said, gentlemen, that's what he used to call it. Gentlemen, he said, it's now 11 o'clock. He said, I hope you've all watched your 3 cut lunches. We haven't got any cooks here, so you'll have to eat one of your sandwiches now. I'm sorry we haven't got any tea. We've only got electric jugs here. Just have to have a drink out of the bubbler. That was their first meal. So come about 2 o'clock, they started shutting us out into the trams. When we got into Central Station, the first train pulled away, steam train. And we got on the second one. And when we got to Gosford, I was sitting next to ended up here, I've known him for years till he passed away. His name was Thomas Gordon Whitney. He was a bricklayer from Beverly Hills. Thanks, Robert. He knows the story off heart. Anyway, I said, this is the first time I've ever been as far as Gosford. And of course, I don't swear. Of course, right through the carriage I was in, you should have heard the comments. Do you think you're the only, so-and-so bloke? None of us have been this far before. So we'd come about 6 o'clock at night. The train stopped at this one station, and it was just a great big, no buildings or anything. Anyway, they said, "Okay, gentlemen, get your second lot of sandwiches out. This is tea. And you'll find those young ladies will come amongst you, giving you a cup of tea each." That was fine. So we get back on the train. We get to Maitland, of course, all steam trains. And this is where...
Maitland, Newcastle.
Yeah.
That's where I was born.
Was it?
Yeah.
All right. Where all the floods were.
Yeah, my nana still lives out at Fassifern Station.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh,
love that area.
Well, that's where we went to Guinea camp. I know the steam trains, that's where they filled up with water for their trip back up the Hawkes River. Anyway, when we got there, they mussed us up and they said, "Gentlemen, the cooks haven't arrived as yet, so we all hope you haven't eaten your third sandwich. Eat your breakfast."
So you had a full day of just eating the own food you packed, no refrigeration. So when we're talking about
well, there's no refrigeration those days, ice only.
What about when you went to war? Were you well provided with gear? Did the Australian Army give you everything you needed?
That's what I was going to tell you, okay? They said to us, "Look, we're going to work you blokes to death because we believe that we've got special work for you. We don't know what it is, but they've told us to work you really hard because you're going to get trampled on." So anyway, they night and day was walking and walking there. And then we got a pair of boots. We're sleeping on a pal house, it was called, just like a big long Hessian bag with straw in it. That's what we slept on. So they masked us in our sand shoes, and then we got a pair of boots, etc., etc. And then we finally got a rifle before we got any clothing. We was using broomsticks before that. There wasn't any.
Can't imagine those were as deadly.
So then they put us on the. They said, like, "Okay, you're going north. That's all we can tell you." So we got to Townsville. We never travelled in the daytime, night time only. As soon as it come daytime, they put us on a siding till that next night. So
why?
They didn't want people to know we was going somewhere. You have no idea.
Gotcha.
So when we get to Townsville, we marched up into the racing track, horse racing track. We slept in the where the horses slept the first night. Anyway, the next morning they said, "Okay, we'll tell you what you're going to take away now." So we took away our boots, socks, shorts, shirts, a rifle, a bayonet, a tin hat, a felt hat, 200 rounds of ammunition across your chest in bandoliers made by ladies out of calico, a little haversack on the back with 25 hand grenades, 2 bandages which were about this round and about that big. So if you got any bigger than that, forget it. Just rip a piece off your shirt. So anyway, we got right to the next morning, and of course this is what an ordinary infantry battalion has got. They got infantry in the front, you got Vickers machine guns behind you, you got 3-inch mortars behind you again, and behind them you got your artillery. That's the lot, that's everything you need. Anyway, they said to us when somebody sang out, some of the blokes from the mortars or something said, "Where's our mortars?" "Oh, look, don't worry about them. What we'll normally do, instead of having to reload it here, we're going to send brand new ones to you. When you get to New Guinea, they'll be there waiting for you." Do you want me to tell you any more? There wasn't any there when we got there.
Really?
So for that whole campaign across the whole Standing Mountains, for my company, 120 men, we had one brand new Bren gun which fired 38 rounds. You got to put a new magazine in it. And then the other one was a Thompson submachine gun which Al Capone used in 1932 in America. It had 2. It had a big round one which fired 100 rounds underneath it, and a little single one on the top which fired 27 rounds. And they fired bullets like that. When they hit you, you didn't get up. Didn't bother looking to see whether they're dead or not, because they are dead.
And they were the guns you had to fight with?
Had the whole time.
Did you have ammunition, a steady flow of ammunition? Were you ever short on ammunition?
Well, sometimes no. The fuzzy was just had to bring up everything. Once you went in the jungle, you never seen the sky, you never seen the sun. All you seen was rain 3 times a day. You'd hear the aeroplanes going over, and there was no radar because there was two huge mountains up there. One was Mount Bellamy. That was as tall as Mount Kosciuszko, which is the highest mountain in Australia. And the other one was Mount Victoria, 16,500 feet tall. Now, the closer you got to Mount Victoria, the colder it got. And if you stood and looked up at it, all you see was mist. And they reckon it snowed up there. And that's the hottest part of the earth.
Wow. And the Japanese used to hide in trees. Did that play a psychological effect, knowing that anywhere you go, there could be Japanese in trees?
I did it first. Then after a while, I thought, well, who cares? And everybody had to do everything. Okay, just say for the first 20 minutes, you were in front, single file, all single file. And then behind you, I'd be behind you, and you'd go back to the middle. The bloke at the back would come up the middle. Oh, everybody interchanges the whole time. Because you only do it for 5 or 10 minutes at the very, very most. And, you just get to the stage where I've got to get out of here. I've got to go back. So nobody ever queried nothing. Everybody just did
what you're told.
It became natural, yeah. And it was, and the Japanese, when they got out in the open, they charged towards you, and this is how clever they were, but after a while we worked them out. If it was out in the open, such as Kokoda, where the little airstrip was, where we knew where we were, they'd be in the open, they'd charge towards you, screaming out banzai and waving their bloody swords and that stuff. And they'd wait till you open up with your automatic weapons. This is how clever they were. The moment you open up with your automatic weapons, they knew you only had 2. So there might be 10 rows of them, and after a while you watch them, and the 3 or 4 rows at the back would just disappear. So what they do is they go around, try and get around the back here. Mm-hmm. If they did, good. That's the end of it. So what we did after a while, we woke up. As soon as we started firing, we could see the ones at the back starting to move. Somebody used to sing out, yeah, they're gone. And they would just go to the sides, and sure enough, just like open the door and wait, let them come in. They slaughtered them, but they still kept doing the same thing over and over and over again because they defeated every soldier in the world up till then.
But we ended up defeating them in
The
Kokoda.
reason why, I'll tell you why.
How did we defeat the Japanese in Kokoda and stop them invading Australia?
We, one of the jobs that we were set up to do, we didn't know, of course, everybody thought there was 2 trails to Kokoda. One was there and one was there. Now, just say they ran across that way. When we landed there, they gave us 3 days to get our breath, and they sent the 119 of us. The Kokoda Trail runs that way. We went straight. When we started to go through the jungle, mud up in New Guinea is all brown. We got the shock of our life. Because as we got closer to a certain spot up there, one of the chaps that speak English, with this, not English, pidgin English, what they'd sent with it, he asked them what was wrong. And they said, very bad man up here, very, very frightening, eat you. So anyway, we knew, something bad. So anyway, when we got there, we come out into a clearing, and the mud wasn't brown, it was red.
The mud was red?
Red.
From blood?
And what it was, what they were frightened of, when the kids have Halloween, okay, they scraped a lot of mud together and put a helmet over their head with their eyes and their mouth. And when you look at them, and they got these little bows only about that long, and the arrows only about this small, they're dipped in poison. And of course, we're standing there, and they're looking at us, and we're looking at them, and one of our blokes said, let's slaughter them, just like that. And Bill Ryan, our officer, who played rugby league for Australia, 1939, brilliant man. He said, hang on. He said, look, we're that far away, these poor devils will never know there's ever been a war here when it's finished. Anyway, he said to the bloke with the Bren gun, Bill Ryan said, hey, Fazza, up here with your Bren gun. He said, see the cooking pots they got there, they're made of stone? Fazza said, yeah. He said, blast one of them, not anything else, just one cooking pot. And of course, the noise in the jungle when you fire every one round, it's just unbearable. You have no idea. Of course, Fazza fired, and of course, they all turned and run backwards, and Bill said, right, let's get out of here. So we come back and we convinced them there's no second trail up there. And the second one was, after we got back, they said, okay, we've got your second job for you now. We're going to send you to Milne Bay. You're expendable, 120 of you.
Do they say that to you? You're expendable?
Well, they had all the priests and the ministers to see us off. Oh, yeah. Oh, they don't muck around with it. They tell you what's going on.
The ministers will see you off?
Yeah.
What do they say when you're about to leave base camp?
Well, they say, you're expendable and we have to build an airstrip down there before the Japanese get there. We don't know whether they're already there because we've got nobody down there we can talk to. And then we had two older blokes with us. I've never met two tougher blokes. Nugget Cummings and Buller Hayes. I've never seen two tougher men than them. Anyway, one of them said, how about the ship? I suppose you're going to give us a bloody old wrecked bloody ship. And they said, yeah, the ship's like you, it's expendable.
Was there?
Oh, yeah.
So they put you on a ship that was dodgy, told you were expendable, and sent you off to have a go.
And somebody said, why are you giving us that? And they said, well, okay, this ship has been doing, it's an old Dutch ship, and it's been doing, in peacetime, it was running up in between all the places and supplying with food or whatever they wanted. And so we're hoping the Japanese, no guns on it, otherwise they reckon it would have blown itself to pieces. But they said, we're hoping the Japanese won't take the notice if they see it.
Position as a civilian ship.
So it worked out. We got down there and there was nothing there. And so we started to unload the ship at night time. At 3 o'clock in the morning, as soon as it started to look like getting bright, the ship would go 30 miles out to sea. The Air Force had calculated that the Japanese were flying from Rabaul to Milne Bay. They could get there, but they couldn't get extra 30 miles out and 30 miles back on top of their petrol tanks. And it worked out that way.
So they kept the ship so far offshore you couldn't see it.
The ship would go out to sea. As soon as it started to get dark, they'd come back in again.
And what was your mission there? What were you doing there?
Okay. We was unloading, first of all, petrol, 44-gallon drums of petrol. That had worked out good. 44-gallon drums of petrol. And then all the steel mesh you've probably seen on television, the planes land on, it's about as long as the lounge you're sitting on. And it had big holes in it. And of course, it's pretty heavy. So we was putting that in the bush so it couldn't be seen, and the 44 drums of petrol. Anyway, they said, if you can hold out down there there's 19 American seabirds coming from America, and that's what they do. They build airstrips.
So you were there to build an airstrip?
Airstrip.
Did you build an airstrip?
Yeah. They bought they said they're going to build, will bring a Caterpillar tractor or bulldozer.
Yeah. We
had no idea what they taught me, never ever seen one. Didn't know what it was supposed to be, but we soon woke up. When we got down there, we found out where they wanted us to build the airstrip. It was a coconut plant, a palm tree plantation, just in a big, long, straight line. And there was one man there, he told us, this will make you laugh, you think all palm trees are the same, don't you? They drew... Oh, jeez.
Oh, it's fine. It doesn't do anything.
Sorry. They grew 5 different sorts of palm trees, 5 different things.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Everything from just coconut, which goes on Lamingtons, to coconut, which goes in lollies. Some was made for oil. Some were made for babies' drink. And the main one they made the money out of, it was Colgate Palmolive owned it. It was a big coconut.
Yeah.
We've never seen one as big as before. They chop it open. They don't want the coconut. All they want is the kernel in the side. It's about this round. And they cut it in half, put it in the sun, and it becomes copra.
Wow.
And copra is what they put in soaps and scents in those days.
Yeah.
That's where they were making their money. So
anyway, you had to clear that.
Boom, they just knocked down every tree. By this time, we've been unloading ships. So anyway, they started knocking the trees down, and we're still unloading the ships. Anyway, one night a ship came in, we went down and loaded it, and Bill Ryan said, oh, don't worry about this one. This one's a special one. We saw, what's they got on it? Gold, something like that. And he said, no, wait to see. Anyway, there was 3,000 blokes just come back from the Middle East. They just went straight in the jungle. They had all the things that we didn't have. They had Vickers machine guns, they had 3S mortars, and they had small, to blow tanks up. We never saw them. So, okay, and every morning a Japanese Zero would come over, and in Milne Bay, the mountains come right down to the water. As a matter of fact, they go into the water. And I can't swim, so I never jumped in to find out.
Can you still not swim?
No.
So you could never swim and you were fighting on the coast?
Yeah. Always had somebody about your side was walking behind me. You looked after each other.
Yeah.
You know.
I suppose that's all you have when you're at war.
That's right. That's it. If if you don't look after the bloke in front of the bloke behind, you're gone. You're dead, as good as dead.
Are they good mates to this day? Oh, well,
They're
good
all
mates. Gone. Yeah, because you're the last surviving from the Kokoda Trail.
Every one of them. Yeah.
Well, it's a pleasure you can share your story and help young Australians understand what happened. What would you say to young Australians about conflict and dealing with wars and trying to be more political instead of fighting?
Well, don't ask me. But all I know is this. We was working on the airstrip because it's just like that mat.
Yeah.
That's where they made the airstrip. Well, I mean, the plane didn't have, he couldn't come diving down and zigzag because he had no room.
Yeah.
So he come over the side of the mountains because somebody said, by the time he started firing, he was doing about 290 miles an hour like that. By the time he started firing, I mean, we were there and the bullets were going there. And of course, one of the blokes said, bloody, what they say, bloody horn-rimmed glasses, buck teeth,
Yeah.
Bloody idiots, they don't know what they're doing. But anyway, the next morning he went out to sea and come back the other way. Changed their mind. And we didn't know till after the war's over. He was photographing us, counting how many men was there.
Ah, was he an ally?
No, Japanese.
Adversary. Yeah.
But we didn't know this till after the war was over. So anyway, we completed the airstrip. And they landed at Buna. They landed 20,000 troops there in one go. They're the ones that went over the mountain. And also they landed 3,000 Japanese Marines because they thought all they thought was there was what they saw. And so anyway, we could see them. They landed at good enough island. They landed in the wrong place, so we could see them. They won't be here this afternoon. They'll be here tomorrow. You can see them, marching up. And anyway, the next morning, so they came in because, we had our 303 rifles and our 2 automatic weapons. We'd have been slaughtered. So they pushed us back and we kept falling back and back. Now, the bloke was in charge of these blokes that came from the Middle East. They call him Silent Cyril. He's Lieutenant Colonel. He never said much, so the blokes told him. Anyway, we kept saying, when's this blood? We said more than that. When's this blood going to bring these blokes out, And he let coming and coming and coming and coming. And they got nearly to the one side of the airstrip and he brought them out. And of course, it was just slaughter. There wasn't very many got away. And what...
Of Australians? You were saying the Australians got slaughtered there?
Yeah. And what they didn't know is every time that Zero went back to Rabaul, once we finished the airstrip, we left everything clear for the Kitty Hawks. There was 3 flights of Kitty Hawks, all Australians, and they'd land there during the day because they had to find out which way the wind blew at certain parts of the day, because otherwise they'd crash. And of course, it was right near the water because the water used to come onto the trail as well. So they were flying up as high, so all the ones that got away didn't get very far. They slaughtered them. And that was the first time they'd been defeated. So anyway, once you go away, everybody's equal, mate, it's who you are. So anyway, I seen this Silent Cyril, Lieutenant Colonel, and I said, why did you leave it so long? We was losing men. He said, that's why I've got these, and you've got what you've got. And I said, what's that mean? He said, what you didn't know, they landed 20,000 up at Sanananda, at Buna, the same time as they landed here. If I'd have brought those troops out early, they'd send a couple of destroyers down, pull back and just blow the hell out of all of us. So that's where they were defeated. That's the first time they've been defeated in the Second World War.
The Japanese.
And overnight, he became a general.
And that was the first time the Japanese got beaten, and then they
on land
got
in
back
the war.
on land. Yeah. Now they're such a loving country, and they don't have much
This is right.
defense.
Yeah.
And I think they're an ally of ours now. It's amazing how the things in the world change.
Well, it has changed. But I mean, in those days, look, those people we fought against were called the South Seas Regiment. Their first battle was in China in 1932. I won't tell you what they did because it's not very nice. But they killed, in the first 5 weeks, they killed 5,000, I beg your pardon, they grabbed hold of 5,000 young girls, that's all I'll say, and they killed 15,000 men, women and babies. This is what they went right through the whole war. They were cruel. You have no idea the things that, and in the end, when we started pushing back over the Kokoda Trail, they turned to cannibalism. So that was
Eating each other.
No, on us.
Eating you guys.
So that's when we were bad before, but after that we came, I don't know what you call us, whatever.
How was it?
It was, yeah.
How was it then coming back from war, back to civilian life, after going over and seeing the atrocities of war?
Well, I had to work 2 jobs practically the rest of my life to try and get on our feet.
Financially or mentally? Like to try to...
Financially.
Really?
I mean, okay, I was getting 2 and 6pence a day. I was sending home half of my mother right throughout the war. And it wasn't until Betty and I got married on the 6th of October 1945. The war finished on the 15th of August, so I stuck to my word. And then Betty got the other half of my money instead of my mother. So, you know, it was pretty hard. So, and of course, they kept me back for 6 months as well because I got that much malaria. They were trying to... During the war, you used to only had quinine to help you get rid of the fever.
Yeah.
And anyway, they were working on 3 different lots of things. After the war, they tried them out on us, 45 men in one ward. There was quinine, which we were taking, which you've never tasted anything like it. I've never tasted it.
Is it good or bad taste?
Oh.
Terrible?
If you had a drink of water afterwards, just swear blind you're drinking quinine. Yeah. I've never seen a bloke just take it down. Everybody vomited it up. You couldn't help it.
It was just disgusting.
Oh, it was fire.
But it's the only thing that would stop.
That's it.
Wow.
And then they had Adabrin, which was like the size of an Aspro. It was brown. And then the other one was plasma quin. And plasma quin was a little yellow tablet. And the moment you started taking plasma quin, your skin turned yellow for the length of time that you were taking the plasma quin.
So when they kept you back for 6 months because you had so much malaria to test out these new drugs, did anything help?
Yeah.
What helped?
What helped? Because I had my feet, I could only wear slippers to start with. Anyway, they sent me down to the Grand Hotel in the city was Veteran Affairs in those days. Anyway, I was sent down there and anyway to be boarded. Anyway, when I walked in, there was only one. I was the only one in the place at the time. And all the men and ladies who worked for Veteran Affairs in those days were beat in the war. So they treated you totally different. So anyway, here comes this bloke, like he could have been my grandfather in those days, beautifully dressed. And anyway, he walked into all the seats in the place. He sat smack bang next to me. And so with me, in those days, you always had to wear your hat with your colour patch. So I was sitting like that with my hat. Anyway, every time I sort of glanced, he's looking. So I thought, what the hell is he looking at? Anyway, after a while, he said to me, because the war was over, he said to me, are you stopping in the army? And I said, no. And he said, how long have you been in? I said, 5.5 years. And he said, I see you're in an infantry battalion. I thought, hello. Anyway, he said, why can't you get out? And I said to him, well, no, they keep me back because they're experimenting. And he said, oh, of course, in those days, everybody wanted to help you, you know. So anyway, beautiful, he dives in and he said, just a second, I'll get a pen and paper. And I thought, oh, here's another one that's going to help me, I suppose. Anyway, he said,
That's nice, though, that everyone wanted to help.
but people used to do this and they had no idea about doing anything. Anyway, he said to me, what's your name? I told him, Reg Chard. Where are you? I'm in Ward 27 in Concord Hospital. What bed are you in? Number 14. And he said, now you sure you want to get out? I said, oh, yeah. So this was on 16th of June, 1942, 1945, I'm sorry. Within 3 weeks, I was out of the army.
He helped you get out of the army?
I got a letter from him, from Tattersalls Club in Sydney, and in those days, I wouldn't have had enough money to even get to the front door. Anyway, it was, I just had, I can always remember, Dear Chard, hope everything has turned out to your satisfaction. Major General Lloyd George. No problem. So it's not what you know, who you know.
The connections. And what about the malaria? Did that?
Well, I still get it.
Yeah, to this day. And
Yeah,
do they give? Is there any drugs they can give you today that will help the malaria?
Do you remember the man in America invented the computers? Bill Gates.
Bill Gates.
Okay. About 5 years ago, he gave £10 million, $10 million to try and eradicate malaria in all the countries. He may as well give it to me.
Yeah.
Still just the same.
Yeah.
So
It's amazing. And what would you say to young people, young Australians, about war and combat and whether you should work things out diplomatically?
well, you'll never work them out diplomatically because if you've got something I want it. That's about all it works out to be.
Resources, power.
Power, yeah, and money.
Money.
Money is the main one. Anything you turn around in war was money.
From your gear to land to...
Yeah, all the people making it, explosives, ammunition, all. They're the ones that made all the money. But I mean, the way things were in those days, I mean, it was a case of either you go, and also, if you was in a, just say for instance, you was a coal miner, both of you,
Yep.
and you both joined up, they'd pull you out, the government. We need you at home. You're more helpful at home. We need the coal, you know. So, yeah, you know, and it happened with lots of people and lots of the ladies. And I'll only tell you one part where we found a lot of ladies. When the Japanese captured Singapore, they captured all the nurses. You have no idea what they did to them. And we found some of them up in New Guinea. We found 25 of them. That's all I'll tell you.
Dead? No good.
Cut to nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
That's my nightmare.
that keeps you up at night. And does that stuff ever go away or no? It lives with you forever?
Soon as the sun goes down and I go to bed, up it comes.
You think about it.
It's not nice, but I mean, we're all in the same boat.
Yeah. And we're appreciative of what you've done for Australia, Reg.
Well, we didn't do it for Australia, we did it for our families because we knew what was going to happen to all the ladies if they came here.
What about the United States? What do you think of people like Donald Trump?
Bring him on.
Would you like to meet him?
Yes, I would.
Yeah. Because you met the Queen's mum as well, which is amazing.
Yeah. But I mean, he's standing up for America. I mean, maybe some of the things he's talking about are silly, but I mean, we didn't want Iran having the bloody nuclear weapons to start with. You can imagine what they'd do with them. They'd wipe out the Jewish people straight away. So, to me, and those bombs they used, I was only saying to Robert.
The bunker bombs?
Yeah.
Bunker busters? It's insane.
You know who invented them, don't you?
The Americans?
No. An Englishman. The same bloke that made invented the Wellington bombers, and I can't think of his name. He also invented the bouncing bombs, which they blew up the dams in Germany with.
I think I've seen a video of them testing the bouncing bombs, and they have a plane, right? And then they skim across the surface.
Well, it's just the same bloke invented them. And his bomb was 1,000 pound. It took 2 ladies 3 working days to fill it up by buckets. It was liquid.
Liquid.
Yeah.
It's insane.
I can never remember his name, but I used to know it well. But maybe I'm slipping a bit.
Your memory seems pretty good.
Yeah.
Your memory's great, Reg. What do you think about the wars around the world at the moment, having been fought in one yourself?
Money.
You think it's all for money?
Money.
Do you think any of it is for good and for evil?
Nah.
It's not.
Yeah. Iran and them. Well, see, the Jewish people didn't have a home, a country of their own, till the end of the Second World War. They were scattered all over the world. This is what the others don't want them there because they've got America backing them all the time. And not only that, I mean, the things... I got some friends who she's married to a Jewish chap. Anyway, they've been over there, and she said the things that they've seen when they've got some of those bodies back from where they first grabbed the Jewish people, she said, you have no idea what they did to them. So, it's just cruelty, plain cruelty.
And what keeps you going today is doing your tours of the Kokoda Trail and the memorial and the kids learning about it. How important is it for you to show kids the memorial of Kokoda and what happened there?
Well, that's all I live for. As I say, not with family, I don't mean that. That's different. But over there, people have got to remember, you have no idea the amount of people. I'm talking about the teachers that bring the children out there. They've got, on all different ages, they've got no idea.
Even the teachers.
Yeah.
What you guys had to do over there.
Got no idea.
Is that scary that you've done this for Australia?
To me it is.
A lot of Australians don't even know about it.
Yeah. And there's a lady that I met many years ago. She's from Brisbane, and her daughter has just started, she's 14, she's gone to high school, and they've just started up in Brisbane, they've started doing carrying stretchers at the little girls. Started off Kokoda, learning about Kokoda. So she was going to bring them down here, but then they got all those storms and whatever. Yeah. So I haven't seen her as yet. But I don't know. I mean, war's not nice, believe me, but I mean, neither's other things they do in the world today. I mean, look at Putin, the Russian bloke.
With Russia and Ukraine? What do you think about that?
At the end of the Second World War, don't laugh when I tell you, the 9th Division and the 7th Division, they wanted to wipe out all these ones that's fighting now. And Churchill wouldn't let them. He said, we don't want to start another war. They were going to wipe them out, fair dinkum.
Really?
And Churchill said at the end of the war, now the rest of the world, the peaceful people, are that strong, let's go through Russia, because sooner or later we're going to have to fight them. Now, that's as true as I'm sitting on my lounge here.
Is that because they're communist?
Because they are, yeah. I mean, I can't understand why somebody hasn't put him to sleep. But who knows?
And how would you like to be remembered, Reg?
Sorry?
How would you like to be remembered from young Australians as an elder Australian?
Whatever they think of me, that doesn't worry me anymore. Nothing much worries me. Yeah. Outside of here, I mean.
Yeah. Well, you have an incredible family, and talking about the kids that have experienced your tours of the Kokoda Trail, sounds like they take a lot away from it as well. So thank you for your service.
And there's one school, which I've always said it's the greatest school that's ever came there. They come from Hurstville.
Yeah.
It's a girls' school, not because they're girls, it's just their manners and that. They come in 90s at a time, and when they've finished their tour, a couple of weeks later, every one of them will write me a letter. You have no idea. Wow. Oh, you have no idea what I've got out in that garage. I always say to Robert, I'm gone. don't bother looking through all these, just throw them all out because you'll be, I'll save that one, I'll save that one. Just throw the lot out. Yeah.
How?
Bank Anglican?
Sorry?
Is it
Dan Bank Anglican?
Oh, he's trying to find the school in Hurstville you're talking about.
All right, I'm sorry.
Dang Bank?
I'm a bit on the deaf side.
Dan Bank Anglican School? Is that what it's called? No.
No,
Bethany College?
Bethany College. That's it.
Okay.
Lovely, thank you. Yeah. Sorry.
Gotcha.
I'm going deaf as well.
I was looking for you.
You're pretty good hearing. You've managed to answer all my questions. So thank you for coming on, Reg.
That's
We don't want to take any more of your time. I know you're
That's all right.
101 years old. It's very impressive. And thank you for your service to the country.
That's a pleasure. I mean, I'm only here to, when I go over there, okay, I'll give you an instance. I was in Liverpool Hospital, in Liverpool RSL, about 65 years. They never even knew that I'd turned 100. They never knew that I'd been there 65 years. I just sit there and listen.
Yeah.
But, we're all different, so everybody's got different ideas. When we first moved here, the government reserved 85 of these houses for veterans.
Was this a veteran home?
We were the first people to move into it.
Yeah.
The federal government was a Labor government at the time, and they said to the Betty and I were living in one room with 2 children as well. So things are no different now to what they were then. People think, we're all living in this and living in that. Things were exactly the same in those days. And you're paying out 2/3 of your pay every week for stay somewhere.
For rent. What about what do you think of drugs? Like when you're at war, do people do drugs at war? Have you ever done drugs?
Do you know when the drugs started? I can tell you when they started. When the Americans come out from Vietnam on R&R leave. That's when at King's Cross. That's when drugs started. Before that, there wasn't any drugs.
Wow.
If there were, I never heard of them.
You'd know about them.
I never heard about it. Now, my family, I'm lucky. I had 10 brothers and sisters.
10 brothers and sisters?
Yeah, six brothers, including myself, and 4 sisters. And none of us smoked, none of us drank. So we're not wankers, but we've seen our father, what he was like. So
it's amazing. So your dad struggled and then you guys all decide not to, which it's amazing because some people go the other way. They see and then copy.
Yeah, well, I used to see, when he was in bad moods. When I was a kid, I used to be trying to grab his ankles and pull his legs together so he'd fall over, when he come home not with too much to drink. So
yeah.
Very sad, but I understand now why. They went through bloody hell.
Sounds like so did you.
Oh, well, different wall.
But thank you for your time, Reg.
It's a pleasure.
I really appreciate you sharing your stories.
Well, you're the last ones ever going to hear it because there's no more.
You're done after this.
I'm done after this.
You're retiring.
From telling
stories. Yeah. I appreciate that.
I'll still do over there because that's different. That's my life. That's what keeps me going. But some people, they think that, you've got to do it for them, and they're the ones I won't do it for.
Yeah, well, we really appreciate your time.
Oh, I didn't mean it that way. No,
but yeah,
I didn't mean it that way.
I get you. But thank you so much, Reg.